our first performer, who is the founder of Orange Wednesday Foundation. He founded Bike and Roll DC and runs it with his wife Gianna Marks. And he's been struggling with depression and anxiety since high school, and he's now really on a powerful mission to normalize talking about mental health and encouraging people to come out and be open about it to get the help that they need. So put your hands together for Stephen Marks!
Hi everybody. How's everyone doing tonight? Good? Good? All right, I have a story to tell tonight. It's about coincidence, but something much more powerful than coincidences. When things happen that seem to be just out of control, it's something that I call a universe link. I'm local. I was born and raised here in the suburbs, and I've been struggling with mental health issues since before high school. Anxiety, depression, compulsive behavior, addiction. My family also struggled with many mental health issues. The ones I mentioned, also bipolar, overeating. I mean, we're a fun family. But most tragically, my son, Noah, made the irrevocable and monumental decision, irrevocable, to end his life. He was 15. And after he passed, as any sane father would do and decide and think about, I decided I needed to get a tattoo. And I knew exactly what I wanted to get. Noah had a phone case, and it said, "A skilled sailor, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor." And I knew I wanted this. It was very important to Noah. Matter of fact, he didn't want to upgrade his phone because he didn't want to lose his phone case, so he kept his iPhone 4, which in high school is very unusual. So I knew that's what I wanted, and my chance to do this came up when I went to Orlando with a bunch of neighborhood friends. And I did a little research on some tattoo parlors, and I had a couple in mind. So we went down, and on a Saturday afternoon, a bunch of the guys went out to watch some of the baseball games from the spring training, which is why we were there. And I decided that was time for me to go. So I went out to look for the first place I looked up that had some nice reviews. And I walk in, and I'm walking around. I can't find it. I'm looking. And finally, I run across a garage, and it's open, and there's a guy in there with sleeves and legs, the whole thing all tatted up. So I'm like, "Hey man, where's XYZ tattoo parlor?" He's like, "It's closed." And I'm like, "Okay, thanks, feeling good. Is there any place that you would send a friend to get some ink?" And he's like, an audible sigh, like I'm completely ruining his zen. So he goes, "Yeah, this place and this place." I'm like, "Thanks." So the first place is about 2 miles away. So I'm looking for a taxi. I can't find one. So I'm like, all right, bring my Uber app. Can I grab an Uber? But my credit card's expired. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll just upload the new credit card, and it's just only 3G, so it's just circling and circling and circling. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess this isn't supposed to happen. So I start to walk back to the hotel down the street where we were staying, and I run into a sign. It's pointing up, and it says tattoos. And it's one of the places that this guy told me about. So I'm like, yeah. So I hop on up the steps, and I get up, and not only is it a tattoo parlor, but there's a full bar and pole dancing. I have no idea where to look. So I finally gather myself. I start looking at some of the iPads and the tattoos, and this one guy starts talking to me. His name's Charlie. And I sort of tell him what I want to do, and I show him the phone. I say, "This is what I want." And I'm thinking right. He goes, "No man, we need to go big. There's a lot of detail there." I'm like, well, I'm thinking like more. He's like, no, man, you need to go big. I'm like, well, I don't know about that. So we're talking about it. He goes, listen, I would really like to do this. It's a really cool tattoo. We can make it real nice. We kind of settled on possibly a half sleeve. And he says, think about it. We're here till 2 in the morning. Come back, drop off $50, and I'll come tomorrow at 1, and we'll do this. I'm like, all right, let me think about it. So as I'm out, I'm like, all right, I'm doing this. Go back, drop out the $50. Charlie says, this is so cool. I really appreciate this because I really need the money. I just got out of jail. So I'm like, awesome. Because also I have some hospital bills because I just was in a motorcycle accident. I'm like, all right, this guy's gonna be fun. So I go home, go back to the hotel, have breakfast with the guys in the morning, and I meet Charlie at 1. And we go over the paperwork, do all the stuff we're supposed to do. He prints out the artwork. He's gonna make the stencil. And he goes, come back in a half hour. So I'm like, go out, I'm walking around, come back in a half hour. He goes, another half hour. So I'm like, okay. And he goes like, I go back, he's like, an hour. So 2 hours later, we're finally 3 o'clock, we're finally ready to roll. So he puts the stencil on me, I like the way it looks, so we're ready to go. And I'm sitting on the table, he's sitting there, he's got all the tools, and it's like, zzz, zzz, he's getting ready. And he stops, he looks at me and he goes, you seem kind of liberal. I said, yeah, I'm pretty chill. He goes, do you mind if I smoke before we get started? So I have like a nanosecond really to figure out, am I cool, not cool, what do I want to do here? I'm sort of freaking out. And I'm like, if he asks me, he's got to do it like this all the time. So I'm like, go for it, dude. He goes out, does his thing, comes back, big smile, sits down. Again, he's getting ready. He looks at me and he goes, you might want to get a drink. I'm like, all right, get a drink, I sit down. And he's like, do you mind if I play some music? I said, no, go for it, man. And he puts on like some really loud, heavy metal. And I choose to listen to my John Grisham audiobook. Yeah. So, and by the way, it's the air conditioner has stopped working. So it's like 92 degrees up top, we're sweating. Very comfortable. So we're going and going, and he finally gets started, and people ask, does it hurt? I'm like, yes, it hurts. So he's going, and he's making some progress, and finally around 5 o'clock, I can feel behind me, there's something going on. There's like a gathering. I take a break to go to the bathroom, and there's a movie screen up, and there's pizza, and people hanging out. I said, went back to the guy, I said, hey, Charlie, what's going on? And they said, well, it's a memorial service for one of our friends who took his life by jumping off a bridge. That is how my son Noah ended his life. So after freaking out for a minute and going, wow, and Charlie going, wow, we settled down, did a big bro hug, and I told him the whole story, and he's like, we're connected for life. So he got going again. He's making progress. It's like 7, and then 8, and then 9, and then 10. And the guys keep like, hey, we're going out for drinks. Where are you? I'm like, I'm on the table, and still getting this tattoo. So we finally, around 11 o'clock, I'm like, I need a break. I need to get something to eat. And he's like, no problem, man. There's a pizza place across the way. So I'm like, cool to get up. And the next thing I know, he is picking me up off the floor. Passed out. I'm like, what happened? He goes, you passed out, dude. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm cool. I'm gonna get some pizza now. And next thing I know, he's picking me up off the floor again. So I say, all right. He goes, you stay here. I'm like, cool. And I'll get you some stuff. So he comes back with a Red Bull. And I'm like, what the hell? Take the Red Bull, go down, he gets some pizza for me, and I'm feeling better. So I lay back down on the table, he starts going again. Around 11:30, quarter till 12, I get a text from a couple of my friends. They're like, do you need anything? Ice cream. On it. So my friends come, and remember, they've been drinking since 4 o'clock. So my 2 friends, they're hammered. They're clomping up the steps, and they are sitting on the other side of a half wall as I'm lying on the table. And the guy's like, zzz, zzz, and they're taking turns spoon feeding me Ben and Jerry's ice cream. as I'm laying there, and he's like doing a tattoo. So finally, about 1 o'clock, he's like, "We need to be done." I'm like, "Yeah, we need to be done." And that's, a universe wink to me. All this stuff came together, and I'm really happy. I think that the tattoo came out really nice.